you still remember the good old days of late night TV shopping? Well, this is the new edition of, well, that same phenomenon. Let's listen to Camila and Maira as they explain how social selling with live streaming really works, the tech that you need to have in place, how to get your audience to engage and really hit it big in e-commerce through this rather new method. They're the pros. I'm super stoked to learn from them. Enter the ad world stage. These are Maira and Camila.
Hi, I'm Maira Genovese, founder and CMO of MG Empower. MG Empower is a global influencer market agency. We are based in London, but we work with clients all over the world. Today, I'm so happy and delightful to be here at AdWord to talk about the future of live streaming and social commerce and how brands can supercharge their marketing strategies through live streaming and social commerce. People love real time. Digital platforms have evolved along the last year with an increasing focus on offering more live streaming features. We also saw many social platforms like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Thriller adding a live streaming tool into their platforms. And there's a simple reason behind it. Real time, it is more engaging. Live videos hold user attention 10 to 20 times longer than a pre-record content. And why live streaming is so powerful? What makes it powerful? Three elements that I love to typing into that I truly believe. The first one is the suspense. The can miss factor is enhanced by the anything can happen element, making live content extremely compelling. The instantaneousness. Psychology explains that humans are hardwired to seek information and rewards, and live video follow this gratification journey with an instant sharing, consuming, and interaction. The sense of belong. When people think they're missing something, they act, right? So live content can either offer replacement when they can experience in person or create that belonging feeling that motivates the user to join a live streaming. So then 2020 came with the pandemic and all brands, influencer, business, we have to adapt to the new normal, to the new way of working, the new way of engaging with our consumers, the new way of creating marketing strategy. And in order to do that, so we all had to think on innovation, and live streaming came before the 2020, but in 2020, it sped it up because live streaming was seen a form as connect with the audience and replace that experience offline into the online landscape. 1,468% increase in number of live stream events between January and August 2020. This is a huge number that proves that live streaming was a turning point for brands to engage with their consumer in a more innovative way. 250% increase in live streaming watch time in 2020. A lot of people ask, and especially us as an agency, ask us, okay, but what's the current landscape of live streaming? So, because live streaming has catch the attention of business and marketeers, and they have embraced it, right, as a key part of their strategy in e-commerce tools. And why? Because it's closer communities. So many brands have found it is an amazing tool to leverage their digital presence and deepen the relationship with the audience, replacing the now limited in-person meetings, encouraging similar connection and nurturing the ambassadorships. No doubt about the growth scale. So live streaming drives instant interest, empowering lead conversion in a much more organic way. That said, the shop live streaming. New platform. Beyond videos, the real-time industry has jumped into audio, gaming, and AR. And Clubhouse is a great example that I love to mention that, recently we saw so many brands and influencers creating live content through audio on Clubhouse. And audio, we will continue to see a great growth in the next month. Here is some stats that I would love to share with you. 79% marketeers says like live streaming encourage more authentic interaction with the audience. 82% viewers says that prefer seeing a live streaming rather than brand social post. 8% of users would rather watch a live video from a brand than read their blog. 230 marketeers that target consumer use live streaming for their marketing strategy. Great question here about the role of influencers and how influencers are humanizing live streaming. Authenticity empowers real time. Content creators have become the new digital form of word of mouth, and this we know now for the past 10 years, let's say, that influencers, their connection with their audience are based on truth and trust. And this is one of the reasons why their own live streaming content are so powerful and usually gather impacting numbers. When brands bring trust and trust to their live streaming strategy, the magic happens. Why? Because it's the human approach. People trust people. People relate to people. And influencer marketing humanizes brands' live streaming content. So creators allows brands to introduce to the audience as a friend recommendation, which is so powerful. Creators allows brands to reach their audience in a personal level. Creates allows brand to be mentioned from an experience point of view. And creators allows brand to get genuine engagement and interest and count on creator to expertise on storytelling, which the experience on storytelling, it's so powerful because influencers, they know how to communicate with their followers, how to communicate with their audience, and how they engage with their content. So when a brand allow creators to work closer with the brand to co-create the storytelling based on the learnings and insight that they have about their audience, is when we see the magic happens. The perfect match: live streaming tools and influencer marketing. We're talking here about technology plus human touch. New streaming solutions and platforms beyond pioneers like YouTube and Facebook, but now, as I mentioned earlier, TikTok, Instagram, Thriller also offering live streaming tools, gaming apps, Tweet, smart TV development, AR and VR. And what is the plus human touch here? It brings authentic value. The co-creation, which I just mentioned about letting influencer co-create storytelling for live streaming strategy, engage and loyal community, intimate connection. So the live streaming segment accounted for the largest revenue shared in 2020, around 61% market share. Consumers are 30% more likely to trust influencers instead of celebrities. If live streaming is on the spotlight, how to bring innovation to the game? I truly believe that innovation is the word that I know we have been listening so much from marketeers and brands and influencers, but I truly believe that innovation is the way forward, and how to innovate it within the digital landscape, especially now with live stream. Don't think going live means innovated by itself, because it's not. Put a qualified strategy in place before turn the camera on. And of course, go above and beyond in each venue of the marketing industry. It's so important here, which I discuss a lot with our clients, that live streaming is not just about, I wanted to do a live streaming. and then just go and creating, a live streaming content with the influencer or the brand created itself without putting any strategy before understand what is your objective, why you wanted to create a live streaming, what are the platforms that will be more qualified for you to target your audience. Would that be a live streaming content working, co-creating with an influencer, or will be a live streaming that the brand will create the content itself? So it's very important to understand objective and how you're going to achieve that objective and create that strategy around. Live streaming has to be done with a creative mindset, but also with rationality behind your strategy to make sure that you're gonna get the results of your live streaming. If it's a shop live streaming, if it's just an experience live streaming, or it's a thought leadership streaming. So it's very important that before moving on and put the camera on, you get your strategy. And what is this innovation path that I wanted to talk about? So there is, few ways of creating that path of innovation, but four paths that I would love to share with you today is about launches. So live streaming, innovation, launch, scale, audience, and reach. Create an exclusive access for a special, limited audience. Build excitement pre-launch. Make real-time interaction a priority, and make loyal customer part of the conversation. So if you're looking to launch a new project, a new product, doing that through innovation and live streaming can be so powerful. Sales, add the storytelling, which goes back to the strategy. So live streaming needs to not just have the strategy, but the creative orientation, and also what is the storytelling, what is story they're going to tell to your audience when you're creating your live streaming content. Embrace an exciting visual approach. Make the best of the uses of the platform features. For example, with TikTok, there's so many tools within the streaming that they offer that's very important for brands and influencers to explore what are all the features that the live streaming within the platform we're going to use can offer to you. Show a purpose if you can behind your commercial goals. This can be so powerful and engage 2 to 3 times more your audience if you have a meaning behind your storytelling. Experience. Create an intimate atmosphere. Embrace visual space and consultants. Try virtual influencers. Why not? They can be a great way of innovation. Show behind the scenes. Consumers love to understand, how you have created a story, how you have created a strategy, and what's the behind the scenes before you go live with an event. So it can be very powerful and also connect you even further with your audience. Authority, education approach, mentorship, bring valuable guests, offer exclusive networking opportunities, humanize the virtual experience. I love to talk about human connection and how to humanize digital landscape, especially nowadays that we are all working and creating experience that are purely digital. So how you can add that human touch on top of the digital experience. It is a challenge, but it's possible, and it's so important to keep understand that with who we are interacting on screen are human, and how you can connect through digital and getting that human connection. It's so key. What the future holds. So this is a good question, right? For all of us marketeers, we wanted to know what the future holds, especially on the digital landscape. Live streaming, I'm here to say to you that live streaming is here to stay. Just like social media set a new consumer behavior and completely changed the digital marketing perspective, live streaming is to establish a new partner. For audience, it means a much more attractive type of content, which allow users to connect, build communities, and better express themselves. For brands, it means a powerful tool to communicate message and innovate the experience offered by nurturing long-lasting relationship that drives more consistent sales, not on-time purchase. The future will be live. 91 million subscribers will utilize live streaming by 2024. 124 billion live streaming industry worth by 2025, and 184 billion live streaming industry worth by 2027. So the future will be live. From now on, customers are expected to live videos at every step of their decision making process. Social commerce more effective? Yes, absolutely. COVID-19 limited visits to brick and mortar shops, right? All that experience that we used to have to go to groceries, to go to shops and have that experience, it was all, suspended because of the pandemic and COVID-19. And based on that, it increased social media interaction, right? And online shopping through them and escalated e-commerce as never seen before. So adding the real-time feature brand not only replaced the excitement of online shopping with the surprise element, but also offer more dynamic and immersive experience to customer. TikTok will launch in the next 1 month or so in Europe, and I believe in the US is already being launched, a social commerce to the platform. So to see platforms like TikTok jumping into social commerce, it's huge. Today, social commerce, you can see through Instagram. They launched it last year, so you can create your own shop feature within your own account. And now we are seeing other social platforms like TikTok jumping to social commerce and allowing brands and influencers to sell through their platform. So this is huge. So technologies will allow more interesting and eye-catching content production, right? And creators will co-work with an inside brands to establish truthful relationship. So conversation will be much more genuine as they happen more and more when the customer are being entertained. And when the creator becomes the brand. So today, I'm so delightful to have with me on this conversation, Camila Coutinho. So Camila is an incredible global influencer with over 2 million followers on her platform. And she has recently launched her own brand, Genovese Beauty, in Brazil. And she's been a pioneer in creating a live shop streaming in South America through her own brand. So I will be discussing with Camila, where does she see the future of live streaming and how influencers can support brands to creating storytelling, to connect more with their audience, and of course, ultimately bringing the conversion. So welcome, Camila Coutinho. So delightful to have you here with us today. Thank you so much for joining me today at AdWord. I'm happy to welcome today Camila Coutinho to this session as my guest and as an inspiring name which comes to connecting the power of digital influence, branding, and live streaming strategy. Camila is an entrepreneur, global influencer, and founder and CEO of Gé Beauty and Garotas Estúpidas in Brazil. Camila has an incredible audience of over 2 million people. She has been recognized in Forbes 30 Under 30 list and is today the founder and CEO of her own leading haircare brand. Last year, Camila, she successfully ran the first live streaming shop in Brazil, reaching outstanding results when she launched her brand. This whole journey made her a truly digital and visionary influencer. So I can't wait to hear all about it from Camila, where she's going to share her thoughts about live streaming and the future of influencer marketing. Welcome, Cami.
Thank you for having me, Maira. Super happy to be here. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today here at AdWord. Cami, today I'm talking about live streaming. But before we jump into live streaming, I would love to start at about your career in digital that you have started 15 years ago when we were still fascinated about the power of blogs. So, from your perspective, how do you see the development of digital landscape? What's your main thought when you're looking behind when you started?
I think for me, when I started, there were no fashion blogs at all. I think almost no blogs at all. So it was more about the blog than the blogger. Nowadays, it's all about the person, the personality. And before 15 years ago, it was almost like press. So now I think first person talk from me to you. So people feel very connected and have created a relationship with the person they are following. So nowadays that evolved into communities. So there is communities that follow that person and that switch information, change information with their influencer, their favorite influencer. So we are not speaking alone anymore. Yes, there is an exchange of information, and that's very valuable. It's almost like a collaboration between the community and the influencer. And also the market nowadays is more professional. So when I started, people would buy sponsored content and would post, and they didn't have the metrics to see if it worked. The only way they knew that worked was if it was sold out or if it sold a lot more than usual. So nowadays there's metrics, you can see who you want to hire. It's everything is more professional. So I think this is the main difference from 15 years ago to now. But there's one interesting thing also, that I think we as human beings, we always want what we don't have. So in the beginning, it was very like girl next door, like a friend. Then it evolved into something super production, photographer, makeup, stylist, too professional. So it was far from the audience. And now it's coming back to authenticity, to being close, to have a connection with the person that's following you. So I think we are coming back to where we started in a different way, but yes.
Very interesting. And Cami, when you say about we're going back to connection, to be authentic, this is very much at the same time is all about how to innovate it in a way. And when you talk about live streaming, I think these 2 points are very connected, like being authentic, but also creating the connection. And you have been a pioneer in Brazil, launching your own brand, Gia Beauty, where at the time in Brazil, no other brand has done an experience digital event where you could shop live. So tell us about shop live streaming, your vision about it, and how and why you decided to go through that challenge of creating your own brand and launching it in a very authentic, innovative to connect it with your consumers.
I think it's very natural. Like if online shopping is growing so fast, especially during the pandemic, and it's very natural when you go to a store, a physical store, you expect that when you enter the store, there's a salesperson that comes to you like offering help, right? So if you're buying online, it's very natural that there's a salesperson also if, on the digital atmosphere. I don't know what's the best word to say that. But so I think that's going to be like, it's already happening a lot in China, where they buy 30% of everything they buy is online, is getting closer and closer to 50%. So in China, this is very natural for people to go online and to, before they buy something, they check if there's live stream shopping going on, if there's any deals, any advantage for them to buy during the live shop. So they consume a lot digital shopping as content, because it's very fun if you know how to do it, to sell and to do it in the right way, because there's a way to do it, then people will consume it as content. And I think very, very, very soon, like already shopping online is very about search and recommendation. So again, in China, Baidu, which is a Chinese Google, almost doesn't exist anymore, because all the search, people do all their search inside Alibaba, which is the e-commerce. So I think it's very natural that we find digital salesperson in digital through live shopping in the next years. And as for the launch of J Beauty, it was already during the pandemic, and I love doing different stuff. So I gave this challenge to my team, and I was the salesperson, and I explained my whole line during this live stream shopping experience, and I took all the doubts from the audience, and it was an amazing experience. So I can't wait to repeat. Yeah.
And Cami, like wonderful that you as an influencer, but at the same time as a very visionary, so you can get all the learnings that you had since you started and see the evolution of influencer marketing and apply it in your content, but also now applying into your own brand. I think it would be very interesting for our audience today to understand your point of view of the future of live streaming. So do you think live streaming, of course, as we discussed it today, and I talk a lot about it earlier, that live streaming is not the future, but the live streaming it's now. But what the future holds for live streaming in general, for live stream experience, live streaming shopping, live streaming thought leadership, from your perspective?
I think there's still going to be huge, still has a lot to grow, Ma, because we as influencers, we don't have the tool as the Chinese influencers have. Even on TikTok is not like working the way it does in China yet. So I think there's a lot to grow. And the brands start hiring salesperson, searching for communication skills, because this way they have a person that sells in physical stores and also online. So I think people should also pay attention on that. And for influencers, also work your communication, study about this, because this is going to become a huge revenue stream. How did you say before?
Correct.
For our business. So guys, pay attention.
And it's the same for brand, right, Cami? Like, because here we have a great audience about brands. So they all should be thinking about the link between live streaming and influencers, right?
Yes, I keep repeating China, 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 because sorry, they are very like forward in this whole shopping online experience, and they buy almost everything online. So in China, people sell from fruits straight from the farm in the countryside, live, like mangoes, to apartments. So brands really need to pay attention in that and stay tuned in what's happening in there. And yes, it's going to be very huge.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Cami. I think as I mentioned earlier, Camila has been a pioneer on creating her own live streaming experience with her own brand. So today, after this session, we will be live on a Q&A. So if you have any more questions to myself or to Camila, please, we're going to be there live replying and getting your questions. And follow Camila on Instagram. I'm also going to put it there on our Q&A session, so you can have all her handles from her own accounts on social, but also her brand. And thank you so much, everyone, for being here, watching our session. Hope you have enjoyed our conversation and the future of influencer marketing and how live streaming shopping will play a huge role in the next, let's say, 5 years at least. So thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Cami.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Thank you.